Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Here we are, 38 wins deep. Pretty impressive. Pretty exciting. We're starting with Brimstone. Also exciting. Maybe not impressive, but exciting. You can't deny that one. This is the... Look, I'll be honest with you. It's, I went to bed a little early last night. I woke up a little early this morning. We're gonna try this. So now I'm recording at the time when I normally wake up. You ever get that kind of otherworldly feeling when you do something like that? It's like being... Yeah, if you go to like a parent-teacher conference or something like that, and you're in your school at 7 p.m., your brain is like, what the heck is going on, dude? It's nighttime. Like, when I look out of the school windows, it's actually dark. What the heck's going on? You know, even my brain right now is just a little bit, like... Not confused, but it feels, like, irregular about the fact that I'm recording at the time when I'm normally, in the bathroom. To put it frankly. But, to start with Brimstone is a nice touch. Can I tell you why I've been going to bed a little bit earlier? It's gonna be very strange. You're not gonna expect this. We started watching the television program Dark on Netflix, which is truly fantastic. But episodes are 55 minutes long. So oftentimes, you know, I normally go to bed at like, you know, 12:31, somewhere around that. Not 12:30 in 1 minute. I mean 12:31. 1 minute past... Wait, no. 12:30 or 1 a.m., I should say. There we go. But now, I'm at this point in my life, I'm unwilling to compromise a bedtime except for a good reason. I've talked about it probably, you know, within the last week of Isaac episodes. I'm unwilling to be like, yeah, let's ruin my sleep schedule with one more episode. And then people, they don't understand that you know, the way you start a mountain is with the single grain of sand, you know? They'll be like, well, one episode won't destroy your sleep schedule. Why does every streamer I follow then tweet 7 times a year, ugh, my sleep schedule's so destroyed, I can't... I know why, because WoW Classic came out. Think I haven't been down... You gotta maintain that discipline, you know? If you go to bed at 10... You gotta go to bed at 10. If you start to make an exception, you go to bed at, you know, 11, all of a sudden, everything starts to get out of whack. Anyway, I am unwilling to compromise my sleep schedule for a television program. As a result, sometimes what happens is, you know, we're watching Dark, an episode finishes, and it's like, you know, 12:05, and we're like, well, we can't watch a new episode, because then it'll push us past our bedtime. So we're like, what else are we gonna do? Just go to bed. It's basically how it's gone down. And I gotta be honest, surprisingly effective methodology. Instead of just like flipping through channels for no reason until 12:30 rolls around. Like, you know what? Might as well go to bed a little early. You know, I'm starting to get to this point where I'm like, I'd even like to be honest with you, I'd like to wake up even earlier than this. And I think that is it's a sign of growth, and I don't want to say growing up, because I don't think it's innately better. I think one of the reasons that if you're like a late riser, and we're just not gonna tip over the apple cart here. We got great items. Let's not mess with it by... Well, now that I think about it, Firemind, I don't think it does us any negatives with a beam, so maybe we'll try it, but you know, I think if you're a late riser, one of the things that's annoying is that oftentimes, you know, boomers, to put it as indelicately as possible, will think you're lazy because of the fact that you get up at noon. But, you know, for a lot of people, maybe they do their best work between the hours of, like, you know, 10 and 4 a.m. or something like that. 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. It's true. I accidentally became kind of a late riser. I do not do my best work at night. Really, I kind of, and this is a constant source of just the smallest friction between my wife and myself. She is, her brain is most active at night without a doubt, and least active in the morning. Mine is like, I'm okay in the morning, I'm good in the afternoon. After, why even take it at this point? After 10 p.m., I resent being asked serious questions. I'm like, if you have something that is critical, like it requires thought and care to be answered, and it gets asked to me after dinner, I would really prefer if we could just circle back to this, like, the next day. So I'd say I'm like an afternoon guy, but for a while I was like a late sleeper. But I think as I've gotten older, I recognize that, you know, I think I would rather... I think I'm on the track to become an early person. And let's just be honest, it's probably a good thing, you know, because we're having a child soon. Like, literally in, like, 3.5 months. What? That's crazy, dude. I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. You probably knew that. There's probably one person whose mind is blown right now, but I've been on mission for 2 years. I just got back today to see that you were still making Isaac, and imagine my surprise. Anyway, welcome back. Because a kid, you know, a baby, whatever. You know, I have no idea. People are always like, what are you going to do when the baby comes out? You're going to be tired. Yeah, okay. What do you... There's no answer. You know, oh, well, I'm going to... You know, I'm going to be tired. And I'm going to wake up when the baby cries. What do you... It's not going to be great, but you're going to get through it. It's like, what are you going to do when your furnace breaks in the middle of the winter? Well, I guess I'm going to be cold, brother. I got no other... I got no other recourse. You know, I think you already know the answer to this question. But a kid also, like, sometimes I think back and I'm like, man, when you're, like, in school, the morning lobby really won out on school, huh? Like, when I was in high school, it's blowing my mind. When I was in high school, I had to wake up at 6:30 or 6:45 a.m. to have the time to shower and eat, like, a little breakfast before the bus came. And I took the bus for like half an hour, 40 minutes to school. Got there at like 8. Class started at 8:15 a.m. 8:15 a.m. is a really early time to have, like, you know, and honestly, I'll level with you. I think I got pretty lucky. My first, and I can't believe I remember this. The first semester of 9th grade, which is when high school starts here, and most of North America at least, my first class was gym, which is, I think, a great class to have early in the morning. Because you run around, you get a little sweaty, but you also wake up a little bit by being in gym class, right? A lot of people tend to work out early in the morning. Might as well take this, and I don't think we need anything else, but it is kind of tempting to take the Spirit Heart, but I think we could get more value out of maybe having an arcade next time. Let's move along here. Or next floor, I should say. And let me caffeinate here. I haven't said that in a while. Well, we'll make it work. But, like, there was 2 groups, basically, because my high school was not that big. So if you were in 9th grade, you were either in, like, Group A or Group B. I was in Group A that had gym class first, and then Group B started with, like, math class first. Even if you're an early riser, that's not how you want to start your day most of the time, I think. It's like, I woke up... You know, the first thing I'm gonna do that's productive in my day is, I don't know, learn algebra. I mean, I'm not necessarily... I believe that, you know, math is not that difficult. Not to say that it's not hard for some people, but, you know, I think that part of the reason that people think math is hard is because people are constantly talking about how hard math is. I think it's got a perception issue, let's say, in that sense. Math should really hire a new PR agent. I think we do math a disservice by suggesting that, you know, only certain kinds of people can handle it, and to everybody else it's like witchcraft, right? I truly don't believe that's the case. Hey! But, I'll take it to protect my deal with the devil temporarily, but I really do want the fly moving forward. Anyway. It's the number one thing that freaks me out when I think about it is the fact that we were eating lunch at 11 a.m., which, if you think that's not early, all I have to say to you is that the morning lobby has gotten to you as well. You've been compromised. You're a sleeper agent. Like, you should not be, well, should not is a kind of a... Look, I'm not here to pass moral judgment, but it's just very foreign to me now that to remember that sometimes it would be like 9:45 a.m. and I'd start getting hungry and be like, man, I really want a sandwich right now. That's why, you know, it pays to make your schedule a little bit more morning focused when you have a child, for sure. My parents got up earlier than I did in school, which I think is relatively normal. I don't think we want any of that, dude. I just don't think we want it. I don't want it. Go back and get the pony. 'Cause we might as well, like, don't really care about picking this stuff up. We still got our holy mantle. Now, if you didn't think I was the master of diagonal walking, that room probably sold you. Might as well hold this until we're done with the floor, I guess. But yeah, I've come to appreciate the value of an early morning. Now, if you're a genuine late riser, more power to you. I think a lot of people are, especially I think if you're on the younger side as well. We do not want Libra. We gotta get a little bit more like agnostically good. Don't hate me for this one, okay? It's gonna make our rate of fire too bad to be workable, I think. But it is the best item we've seen so far. I don't even think that does anything, so apparently I'm just Mr. Boring. You know what? That's good stuff, though. Yeah, doubled our rate of fire with Brimstone. That's pretty solid. That'll get the job done. You know what? No. That won't be the kind of room we're looking for. All right, get me out of here. And this should be a second secret room. Nope. All right. Goodbye. But I think I'm like a mid-morning person who's been masquerading as a late riser for too long. I really do have visions of myself being the guy who, you know, wakes up, you know, a couple of hours before anybody else in the household and just leisurely drinks a cup of coffee on the porch. That's how I see myself moving forward, and it's going to be an iterative process. It's not going to happen on day one. You know, we'll get there eventually, though. It's just a shame because there's only 9 episodes of Dark left. Although there is the 3rd season starting soon. By the way, I cannot recommend Dark enough. Which, if you're not a native speaker of English, or perhaps, you know, you don't have a masterful grasp of the language, will seem like a strange sentence. What I am saying more simply is I recommend Dark quite highly. It's the kind of... I honestly... Look, if you're gonna ask me the best television program I've watched in the last couple of years... it's close between Dark and Better Call Saul. I think Better Call Saul is a little bit... The temptation is to say that Better Call Saul is better because it's a little bit more mature, you know? There's no fantasy elements at all, to the best of my knowledge. I don't know, maybe they'll pull a late game... fantasy turn because of the hole that Game of Thrones has left in the market, but I doubt it. But I really think Dark is up there. It's one of the best... In fact, I might even say it's the best science fiction show I've ever seen. If you like Stranger Things, but the idea of perhaps a Stranger Things that's a little bit more... And it's gonna sound a little rude, what I'm about to say. If the idea of a Stranger Things that is perhaps a little bit more mature appeals to you, then... I would consider something like Dark. And I don't mean to suggest that Stranger Things is for kids. However, I do feel like, apart from some dark moments, and I guess pun intended, you know, Stranger Things is kind of like on the level of, in terms of tone and accessibility of like young adult fiction. That's not to say that adults cannot enjoy it. I love the first season of Stranger Things. I thought the second season was okay, and then I didn't watch the third season, so maybe I didn't like the second season as much as I thought. We're skipping so many items, by the way. Here's a question for you. Why was I committing to Mom's Pad? Out of all the items available, I mean, I think I'll still take it over Dead Sea Scrolls, but I'm waking up a little bit more here, and I'm like, why did I reroll so many spacebar items, dude? Or just not pick them up. Anyway. Item room. Yo, Serpent's Kiss is the real deal. And let's just do a little thing right and then get out of this floor while we still know where the boss room is. Incredible. But yeah, you know, and again, I hope that it isn't taken too offensively. I should not have taken Fate's Reward because it is actually screwing things up because of Fire Mind, which it'll do a lot of damage, but it could hurt us as well. This run should be 1000% fine, though. It just needs maybe a couple more Spirit Hearts, and then we're off to the races. But you know, I like some young adult fiction. You know, the first Hunger Games movie. Totally fine. The second Hunger Games movie, I actually think is great. The third and fourth and 7th and 19th ones, I was bored out of my skull. I do not think they brought those to a good resolution. I knew it was going to happen. But that's okay. And in some ways, even, you know, like Lord of the Rings is a classic work, but it's accessible. Like, you can start reading those. But a lot of people read The Hobbit when they're in, like, 5th grade. Anyway. Dark is, like, it's a cut above that. It's a more mature watch, for sure. Just, if anything, because of the amount of, like, focus it requires while watching. You gotta be attentive. You're gonna be asking yourself questions. Who's that? Who were they married to? You know, what's their interaction with this person? What's this building? I thought we've seen this before. You know, it's a little bit like that. It's almost like watching... It's not as convoluted, at least yet, as watching something like Primer, which is another amazing movie in the same vein, but it's not super far off, necessarily. But it's on Netflix. I buried the lead on that one. It's on Netflix. I could not recommend it enough. I highly, highly recommend it. And that was like, you know, my weekend was pretty chill, pretty casual. Because today is Sunday. I guess my weekend's not over. Don't blow up the... Okay, thank you. But it's pretty close to being over, you know. What did we get up to? Well, went to the dentist. That was a big one. Okay, not my finest moment there. Actually, can I tell you, at the dentist, I was very proud of myself. I've never been the kind of guy, even as a kid, going to the dentist didn't really bother me, you know? My grandpa is the exact opposite. The man is insane. And I say that with only the slightest bit of disrespect implied. I mean, I think we're out of here, dude. I think we're out of here. He's very stubborn. Let's frame it that way. Because then I think it makes things much more sensible for what's about to happen, what I'm about to say. My grandfather, anytime he went to the dentist, if he had to have like a cavity filled or a tooth pulled or something like that, even like a root canal, I swear to God, you may disbelieve this, but it's true. I want to disbelieve it because it's asinine. He did not get anesthesia because he believed that the anesthesia was worse than the pain of, you know, the scraping and the drilling and the yada yada. I'm here to tell you, as someone whose anesthesia wore off a little bit too soon in my wisdom teeth extraction, which I was not... Let me rephrase. I was not put under general anesthesia, i.e., like they put you to sleep. But I was put under local anesthesia, where they freeze your mouth, basically. I'm here to tell you, for the love of God, I mean, there is mom's knife there, but for the love of God, do not subscribe to this belief. It is ridiculous. Little needle, sure. Nobody likes needles. Feel free to play devil's advocate on that if you want. I'm like, you know, when I give blood, it's just like a little poop, and then you're good to go. But you know, nobody likes the feeling. It doesn't bother me on like a psychological level, but you know, you're like, wow, if you could freeze me with just like giving me a candy cane or something like that, I'd rather have that. But it's way better than the alternative. But I've never been like an anti-dentite. I don't mind going to the dentist. But this time I was proud of myself because while you know, the dental hygienist was scraping away, I almost fell asleep. I was very proud of myself. It's not that it didn't hurt. It was just like, you know, I felt very Werner Herzogian, you know? There's a story where acclaimed documentarian and filmmaker Werner Herzog, who you may also know as one of the stars of the Disney Plus television program The Mandalorian, and also the villain from the first Jack Reacher movie. He's had a very strange career. Got shot with like a BB in the middle of an interview once, and the interviewer was like, you know, holy crap, you wanna, you know, stop and go to the hospital? And he's like, it's merely a bullet. Something like that, can't remember. He's like, the pain is immense, but I can handle it. It's, you know, quite stoic of him. Anyway, I mean, that was basically my Saturday. That and, you know, we got some lunch out for the first time since, you know, COVID. And it's wild. So, today, we didn't have a COVID update on Saturday for British Columbia. On Friday, there was one new case in the province of, you know, 5.9 million people or whatever. Very encouraging, right? So, the places have started opening back up. We went to eat at a hot pot restaurant. And I'm not saying this is, like, oh, what are they doing? This is ridiculous. I'm rather saying, like, you know, these are the precautions places are taking when they open back up. First off, half the restaurant was gated off, which everybody expected. You know, you can only sit at half the tables so that you can maintain social distancing. And then, you know, you got to sanitize your hands on the way in. But then halfway through our meal, our server came over and was like, hey, one of you must provide their name and phone number in case there is a breakout, or an outbreak, I should say, and one of the people involved with it is eating at this restaurant. We need to be able to contact you in order to do, like, you know, contact tracing, basically. And I mean, I happily provided it, because what am I going to do? I don't want to end... First off, it doesn't offend me, but secondly, I don't want to end up in one of those clips where someone's filming you being belligerent in public, and then, you know... I mean, it's not really a big risk, because I don't know if I've ever been belligerent in public, but... Still, it's on my mind, especially as a public figure. So I provided it, and I was like, you know what? I think it's a good thing. I don't... In normal circumstances, you probably don't need to do that for every restaurant you go to. But, you know, while you're in kind of a strange little time bubble like this, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you would rather know, I assume, if you came in contact with somebody who got it, so that you can isolate yourself and not spread it on. And the way I understand it is that kind of contact tracing is why for a long time South Korea was able to keep things as under control as possible, despite having, you know, one city with 20 million people in it, an incredible population density, and, you know, yada yada yada. So just weird things that I've never had to deal with before, but, you know, when you stop to analyze them for more than a couple of seconds, make a lot of sense, honestly. Apart from that, you know, played a little Warzone, watched a little Dark. It was a good day. Can't complain. And I can't complain about this run either. But am I ready to segue back into the run? I mean, why would we? You know, it's as locked in as you can get here. Trying to think what else we got up to. There really wasn't much. I mean, it's like it's nobody's really locked down anymore, but we're still like locked in. It's like probably 75% of things are not open yet, but I'm assuming that'll change over the course of the next week. But I know people might be eager, you know. NL, did you end up going to the gym when it opened up? No, it's been open for a week as of tomorrow. I probably should go tomorrow. I've not gotten an update from my gym about it being so busy you need to check in, which means to me that it's probably not that busy, combined with relatively, well, it's not relatively low cases, it's low cases. One case is the smallest number of non-zero cases you could have. It's not like you're gonna, Dr. Bonnie Henry is gonna get on the television and give a press conference. It's like, we got 2/3 of a case today. We're just not sure. He's got a sore throat and he said he feels a little icky, but we can't be sure. That's kind of where we're at, you know, in the dueling current events that dominate our news cycle right now. Otherwise, you know, we've been buying a lot of baby stuff. Maybe that's exciting for people. We've been buying a lot of baby stuff. Don't realize how many baby things you need. You know, I never... A lot of people are in denial about their baby being loud. I think that's just a survival mechanism. Like, I've been telling people, like, sometimes they go, how are you going to survive your baby crying? And I'm like, well, what do you want me to say? You know, sometimes I just, to placate them, I go, I think maybe we'll just have a quiet baby. I don't truly believe that, although it would be very nice. But can I tell you my actual coping mechanism? And this is rude. It's a rude thing to say. But, basically, whenever people go, and I don't think we are going to fight Mega Satan, yeah, let's maybe farm some items first. Whenever people say, like, oh, it's so tough to have a baby, and I don't disagree that it's hard, okay? And I haven't done it, so how would I know? But whenever people say, like, oh, it's so hard to have a baby, I'm like, yeah, but, like, is it, though? Because literally, like, billions of complete idiots have done it. I watch TLC. Some of them have had, like, 10 babies, and they're still living. You know, they're not facing, like, nervous breakdowns every day as a result of their decisions. I'm just saying, if some of the individuals, if some of the fine minds on TLC can have 7 babies, we can manage with 1. So that's my other coping mechanism. It's the same, like, when I was learning to drive. You know, at first I was like, oh, this is a lot to remember. Then you just think about it and you're like, you know... Some of the stupidest people that I know do this at least twice a day and are relatively fine. It's not to say you shouldn't treat it with, you know, safety and decorum, but you get what I mean. How hard could it be, is what I'm trying to say. And maybe I'll be unpleasantly surprised, but again, it is what it is, you know? It's like, oh, that's a big pill that's gonna save your life. How are you gonna swallow it? I don't know. If I don't swallow it, I'll die. So I'm gonna figure it out. It's not gonna be pleasant, but I'm not that worried about unpleasantness, I suppose. But yeah, where was I? We've been picking up a lot of baby stuff. But you know, you can't be in denial about children being expensive. That's for sure. But I guess I am a little in denial about children being expensive, despite what I literally just said. And I'll tell you why. When Kate and I, you know, and this was obviously pre-COVID, but when we would go out, you know, we don't have too many, like, expensive hobbies or anything like that. You know, I'm not out here buying, like, $5,000 DJ decks so I can, you know, play at clubs on the weekend. And you know, we drive a very reasonably priced and also terrible automobile that I encourage people to avoid at all costs. We're frugal in that sense, but when we splurge on dining. You know, we go out to eat at nice places. But I was telling Kate, I was like, you know what? I almost wonder, having a child is going to be expensive, for sure. But being unable to go out to eat at... trendy adult restaurants, Oh, well, that doesn't do anything for us, I think. Might actually, I'm not going to say save us some money, but it'll offset the cost a little bit. Because, you know, there's a difference between going to eat at, you know, Morimoto's Sushi Bar, which is something I made up. I think it's a restaurant in Las Vegas. And, like, you know, when you got, like, a 1 or a 2 or a 3-year-old and you're like, well, it's basically like Denny's or McDonald's. I want to... Look, you don't go to, like, a quiet, dark restaurant with a toddler unless you're some kind of... I don't know. I don't know if you're a sadist or a masochist or both at that point. You want to go to a restaurant that's bright and big and loud and serves, you know, pieces of breaded and battered chicken that are in the shape of cute animals. You know, that's... Even we went to a... I don't know what you call it. Like, it's a casual sushi restaurant. We went to a casual sushi restaurant last year with... you know, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and at the time, their kids, our nieces, were like maybe 7 and 4, maybe 6 and 2. You know, we'll figure that out when we got to send them for play dates or when we need a babysitter or something. But even at like that sushi restaurant, which was very like there's no reason it couldn't have been family friendly, but the kids were still not having like a great time. Like one of the kids was just like, I just want to eat rice. I'm like, okay, well, you come to the right place. And then the other kid was like, they only wanted a cucumber roll, but they didn't want to eat anything but the cucumbers, so they paid like $4 to get like some julienne cucumber. And anyway, you know, that's why you just go to a place that serves sandwiches. For now, thanks for watching. This is an easy one. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. But please do click the like button if you enjoyed it. Single best way to support my channel if you're a long-term viewer and give me some algorithmic turbo. I'll see you next time. See ya!